All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, Barn on 11970. And as always, I want to start my video by saying thank you for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And if you're new to this channel, hopefully it'll help you start thinking in a different way. And that always helps people to grow and at least see things from different perspectives. Today is now the 17th of August, 2017. It is currently 12:49 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. And I wanted to just share another video of some thoughts I've had and some interactions I've had today. I don't always have the chance to respond to comments. I mean, I get so many comments, so many emails, not only here, but on my Facebook channel and everything. But I do read a lot of what people have to say. And I did interact with a couple of people today. And one of the people, of a bunch of people, basically asked me a question. And their name was Lilith, so I wanted to give a quick shout out. Asked me basically why I do what I do. And I basically thought about that for a second, and they were talking about, you know, as far as making my videos on my Barn on 11970 channel. And Nerd says, still keeping late nights, I see. Yeah, this is the time I start eating dinner. I'm usually up for another 4 or 5 hours, but that's all right. As long as I can make a video that somebody appreciates, I'm happy to do it no matter what time of the day. But like I was saying, the person asked me, and a shout out to him, by the way, you know, why do I do this? You know, especially as you see in this world, there's so much hatred, so much fear, so much division, so much worry. Why is it, especially in the past month or two, especially, why is my channel and why do I do what I do? And I thought about it for a second, and I then really stopped and thought about it and processed it. Why do I do this? Because, I mean, I'm not making millions of dollars doing this. I'm not making fame and fortune. As far as changing the world, who knows? But then again, I only do, like it says on the screen, uniting people one person at a time. I only concentrate on the people that are here, not the ones that I can't help. And that was the biggest thing when I first started. I wanted to save the world. Well, first you got to save yourself, then you got to save one person, and then go from there, because you never know who he or she might save on their own. So when it comes to making these videos, you know, she also asked me, what do I get out of it? What do I expect from doing these videos? And I said, you know, I don't really expect anything, because if I was doing this expecting something, then it would be for selfish reasons, and that would be the wrong reasons to do this. And you see a lot of people on YouTube that they'll just conform to whatever's going on, and, you know, they'll basically just tell their audience what they want to hear and not be themselves and not be genuine, so this way they don't lose subscribers or they don't lose revenue. To me, my integrity means more than that. Now, with that being said, it doesn't mean I get everything right. You know, everybody is going to have to learn, and sometimes you have to learn through your mistakes. But I do this because, in my opinion, I feel like this is the right thing to do. And I wanted to give another shout out to a person, and I put the link, the name of their channel in the description. So if you want to check out their channel, the video they did, please do. The person's channel's name is thesimplisticseth. And I placed that in the description. And tonight, he actually made a shout-out video for me. Which, I mean, I hope you'll watch it. Go check out his channel and watch the video. And I thought that was really kind of him. And I wanted to say personally, I wanted to give a thank you to that, because that made my day. And that's the kind of reason why I do what I do. Because over the years of doing this, yes, I've been attacked, I've been insulted, I've been taken out of context, I've had people assume things about me, I've even had people that I put my trust in try and take advantage of me, I've had people get my personal information, put it out on the internet, calling my family, calling myself, even receiving death threats. So there's not a lot of reward to this. But it's people like that over the years. There have been people that told me that they wanted to commit suicide and then listened to one of my videos and it made them think about it in a different way and they changed their mind and didn't do it. And to me, that means everything. And that's why I want to try and instill that bravery in all of you, that sometimes we do things because we want something in return. It's natural. I mean, look at this world. We all go to work because we want to receive some kind of compensation, some form of currency, so we can go buy things. So it's not, what's the right word? It's normal to do things like that. But every now and then there are people, and we all have the power in us, to do something just because it's the right thing to do or because it's kind. Like helping an elderly woman or an elderly gentleman across the street, holding a door open for somebody, maybe seeing an animal injured and you stop what you're doing to rescue that animal or do your best to save it. And I'll give you an example of today. In my house, there ended up being a little mole. Somehow a baby mole got into the house. It wasn't a mouse, wasn't a rat, it was one of those little moles. I hear the squeaking noise and I see my 2 cats are capturing it and kind of playing with it. Now, I could have easily just let them kill it, but to me, it's another form of life, and everything has a right to live within certain means. And I got it away from the cats because basically, if you have cats, you know that if they get something like that, they're going to play with it first and basically, torture the thing until it dies. So I managed to get it, and I went across the street a couple of houses down where there's some woods, and I just let it go to be free. So to me, everybody has the power in themselves to change the world or to change one person's world. And the problem is, because of this world training us to get, like especially on the internet nowadays and with Facebook and Twitter and our cell phones, we always seem to want to get instant gratification. Fast food is everywhere. You can order things at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Monday with a click of a button. You could go on some website like, I guess, Tinder and just flip through until you find somebody you like and just whatever you do. I've never been on it, so I don't know how it works. I think you flip left or right or up or diagonal, whatever. So we're so used to instant gratification that we seem to forget that when we help somebody, sometimes it may take days, weeks, months, or even years before the effects can ever be known. And if we do things just because we need to get something back, then we're doing it for the wrong reasons. And we see this world so much where people are trying to stand up for their own rights, and they have the right to do that, but not at the expense of others. And what started out as maybe good movements, like, for example, a feminist movement, they obviously feel that they need more rights as a woman. And obviously everybody should have equal rights. But if you're going to trash or destroy or hurt or discredit or insult or ignore the rights of someone else or something else, then you turn a good thing into a bad thing in other people's perspectives. And that's why we're seeing so much anger and hatred in this world. But the anger and hatred does not have to be a part of your life unless you join into that. And that's some of the things I had to learn over the years when I had trolls and haters and people doing all this stuff. I always felt like I had to defend myself. Well, I don't need to defend myself to people I don't know. So I started focusing more on myself and growing and becoming better. And then over the years, every now and then, I'd get a kind letter or a message or like a video like this person, I believe his name is Seth, correct me if I'm wrong if that's not the case, that just made my day. And let me tell you, the reason I haven't made videos in the past couple of days is the truck that I bought because my other car died. Basically, I went to go get it inspected to make sure, it would pass inspection. And the repair person, who's been a friend of the family for decades, so he's not out to screw me or anything, said that because there's so much water damage, because this truck I bought about 3 or 4 years ago, I paid like $2,500 for it, but I knew it had water damage, but I needed a truck at the time, basically said that the whole frame is falling out. And one good bump or one good slamming on the brakes, and basically your whole frame could fall out and you could basically die. And I had to go today to buy a new vehicle. Now, obviously, not a 2017 vehicle. Now, the old me would have been storming up and down, would have been upset, would have been like, oh, look, this always happens to me. But not that I'm a millionaire and not that I have, plenty of money around, because I have just enough to do a couple of nice things, but, I don't have a lot to move on. But I had just 2 days ago, one of my clients order another one of their packages, because I'm a massage therapist and I do this special where if somebody pre-orders 20 massages and pays for them all at once, I give them 20 more for free. So people don't pass up on that deal. And the way they have to do it is they have to continue once the other one's done. Well, that person renewed just 2 days ago. So I happened to end up just in that nick of time. And this person renews every 5 or 6 months. So just at the right moment when I needed cash to be able to buy a vehicle, it happened 2 or 3 days before the truck ends up breaking down. So things will come to you if you stay positive. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to get depressed or not get upset. But if we start hurting others because of our depression or our anger or our frustration, then we're not helping to make people's lives better. And it becomes a selfish act. Just like when they say if somebody commits suicide, it's actually a very selfish act because they're actually doing something that will make lots of people who care about them very sad. And believe me, I've been there at one point a long time ago where I've wanted to have those things happen. So we all go through processes, but it's based on not where you've been or where you're going, because you're not there yet, and where you've been, you've already been, but where you are right now. So many of us try and focus on the future, or we're stuck in the past instead of realizing that now is when we can change the world. Now is when we can change ourselves, or make ourselves better, or do something, or say something. And that's why you see so many people worrying about, oh, there's going to be a war with North Korea. You notice I don't talk about that stuff. You notice I don't worry about that stuff. The secret of this world is you create your own reality, not based on what you pray for, or what you hope for, or what you believe in, what you feel. And that's how people have been able to manipulate other people's free will through their own free will by making suggestions, by repeating the same things over and over again until you start to believe them. You put your feelings into them and it manifests in your reality. And that's why I will never be like Alex Jones, who probably makes millions of dollars, who has lots of ad revenue, lots of people paying him money, and says a lot of scary things to keep people scared, to keep them coming back. I won't do that because that's not my path. But you notice that I've tried to warn people for years about this stuff. And maybe I went about it the wrong way, or I didn't know what I know now. Fear is one of the biggest motivators in people's lives if you see it as something positive. Because if you overcome fear and face your fears, you can turn it and create it into something new, something better. It's when you allow fear to overwhelm you, is when you crawl into that ball afraid to enter the world or do something because it's something that frightens you. And it's your lack of your own choices and your lack of your own effort that ultimately decides your path. Because you have to remember, this world will teach you that, we're on a path. That maybe they know your future, or you're guided, or it's written in stone. Well, please show me a path that only has one direction, that can't go in other directions. You can always turn around. You can always go in another direction. But this world makes you think there's only one way to go. And that's why I've always said when people say, oh, it's etched in stone. Well, even if something's etched in stone, it's only there forever if no one changes it. And that's why I've always said you're responsible for your own future and your own present. And you can change anything. So yes, if somebody writes some message in a stone, it will be there for thousands of years. Unless you decide to blow it up or chisel it away. In other words, your inaction will allow it to continue to be there. But your action can change it. Just like your actions can change anything. And that was nice of you, Resource-Based Economy. Thank you. You didn't have to do that, but that is definitely appreciated. That was very nice of you. So I want people to, like I always say, realize, because you need realize, that this world can go in any direction you feel it to be. And I tell people all the time, it's not what you hope for. It's not what you pray for. It's not what you ask for. It's what you feel and what you do. It's all about perspective. And I've used this analogy before, but it's been a long time. Let me use this analogy again, because people appreciate this. If I said you have 30 days to come up with $1 million, how many of you would say, honestly, you could get that $1 million within 30 days? Most of you would say, oh, I can't do that. And you will be proven right, because when you say you can't, you've created that reality. You'll do nothing to try and make the attempt, thus making what you say to be true. So the universe is actually giving you what you feel because you've placed doubt into your reality. So you get the doubt and you get confirmation of the doubt because you don't get the $1 million because you didn't do anything to get it. Now let me change the perspective a little bit. And God forbid something like this ever happens. But let's say somebody kidnaps your family. Everything that you love, all your pets, your children, your grandparents, your parents, your best friends, your loved one, whatever. And they make a YouTube video only for you. And you see all of your loved ones in some undisclosed location tied up. And you hear a voice that says you have 1 million, obviously, and you have 30 days to get $1 million, or the next video you see will be me murdering all of the people you love. Now, let me ask you now, will you do everything in your power to get that $1 million? I bet a lot of you would make a hell of a lot bigger effort to do so. Now, let me ask you this. What changed? It's still 30 days. It's still $1 million. What changed was your reasoning. So you went from, I can't do that, to I must do that. So the only thing that changed was your perspective, your point of view, what effort you were willing to do. And I'm sure a lot of you would find a way to get that $1 million. You wouldn't stop and say, oh, I guess my family and loved ones are going to die. I can't do it. You wouldn't even stop and think about that. You wouldn't hesitate. As soon as they ended that conversation, you'd probably be on your way to figure out how to get that $1 million. So in other words, it's your choice if you're not doing what you want. It's not easy. I'm not saying you could just snap your finger and you'll have everything you want. But you can't win a race if you never take the first step. And if you fall and sit there crying and say, woe is me, will you finish the race? You'll only finish the race if you get up. Even if you fall 1,000 times, you get up 1,000 times. That's why, like a song says, I get knocked down, but I get up again. That's choice. And in this world, the reason why the few control the masses, and that's why we talk about things like corporations and government, is because they know how to manipulate people because they base things on feeling. And that's why you have the feminist movements, the Black Lives movements, the things that happen in Charlotte or wherever, because I don't watch that stuff, because I don't subject myself to a show and a play. And they know how to get people's emotions to guide them in a direction that you think you're putting yourself into. And that's why I tell people, if you want something in your life bad enough, you have to say to yourself, what's stopping you from getting it? And if you keep saying, well, I have this, and but I have that, and I can't do this, well, you're never going to do it. Why do you think there are people who smoke for decades, and then all of a sudden when they go to a hospital or an emergency room because they coughed up another thing of blood and they passed out, and the doctor says, if you don't quit, you're going to die, why is it all of a sudden people can quit then after doing it for decades? Did the cigarettes all of a sudden not become addictive? No, you made the decision. And because you said, now I have to do it, or now I will do it, you do it. So the reason that I do what I do is, if I can motivate one person to change their thoughts, and one day they go from being angry to somebody that's now caring, then I did something positive. And you can too. You don't have to be able to speak the way I do. Some of you may not be able to do that, and some of you may speak 1,000 times better and say things that I never could think of. But in this world, we're being led based on fear, based on your emotions. That's why you're always angry or scared or depressed or worried. These are all emotions. They can easily manipulate you unless you choose to never let it happen again, because you have control to a certain extent of your own destiny. So why not make yourself happy? Why not find happiness? Why not do something that may scare you but might be exciting? Because everybody assumes that fear is bad. Well, let me ask you this. How many people have ever been on a roller coaster and gotten scared? Was it bad? See how you can change the perspective of something when somebody points it out? A roller coaster is scary, but it's an excitement. It's a fun. Or also, how many people are upset of being afraid of a wolf chasing you? The reason for you to be afraid is so you don't stand there and get eaten. But we see negativity as weakness. And that's why some people would rather follow the tribe mentality, even if they're wrong, because they don't want to be mocked, than to stand their own ground and say, no, I think differently, and that's okay. And when some people used to mock me or attack me or put me down for that, I used to worry so much about that. Now, I don't care about somebody else's opinion because it doesn't involve my life. And it's more of a reflection of them than it ever will be of me. And that's why it kept coming to me, because if you don't face your fears and you don't learn from the things that are presenting themselves to you, you will never grow. If you were in first grade and they tried to teach you that 1 + 1 is 2 and you can't figure it out, you're going to keep getting left back until you learn it. But once you learn it, you don't have to learn it anymore. That's the thing that people have to understand about their lives, or understand about their lives, because you're taught, even with religion, to pray outward. It all comes from within. That's why prayers seem to not hardly ever be answered, because you're sending the message in the wrong direction. It all comes from within. And because of belief, there will be many of you that will hear that and automatically dismiss it based on your own belief. That wasn't something that you learned in your life by yourself because you spoke to God. It's because other people told you about it. That's what programming is all about. Now, if you were sitting in your house one day and all of a sudden Jesus or Buddha or Satan or God or Thor or whoever sat down on your bed and had a conversation with you and said, hi, I am the higher consciousness, I am your savior, I am your God, and I'm going to explain life to you, well then yeah, you have a good reason to believe in what you believe in. But most of us receive our beliefs from what other people have put into us. And the more we research things and the more we pay attention to things instead of just following them blindly, the more we realize a lot of the stuff that we've been told is not accurate and sometimes just not truthful. You know, people, whether you love, for example, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or whatever, any politician, show me any government in the world that has made their citizens or their people or their country better. Now, I'm not talking about, a 1% increase in profitability or a 2% job increase or a 3% decrease in unemployment. I'm talking about getting closer to a utopia. And yet we keep fighting back and forth, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat in this country, and they're both of them on either Democrat or Republican, very wealthy and really don't care about us because they just say what we want to hear. That's why there is no wall. That's why Hillary Clinton is not in jail. It all comes down to choice. And you can do anything that you want. But you can't if you don't believe it. Now, don't go out and do something dangerous because that's just not smart. But if you're sad or depressed, instead of just saying, I'm sad and I'm depressed or I'm angry, think about it and say to yourself, honestly, why am I sad? Why am I depressed? What can I do to fix it? What can I learn from the situation? Because if it keeps happening to you, then somebody is trying to teach you something that you're not listening to. Somebody keeps trying to tell you that 1 + 1 is 2, and you're not listening. So stop and ask yourself, why? Think about it. Be true to yourself. Because here's the thing about this world and free will. You can lie to your friends. You can lie to your family. You can even lie to yourself. But you cannot lie to truth. And truth is what you really feel, not what you say. Because you can easily say to a stranger you love them, but if you don't feel it, those words mean nothing. And that is not truth. So if you cannot be true to yourself and learn why you are the way you are and why you're feeling the way you feel, and you're not honest with yourself, is it any wonder why nothing changes? So many people have so many things, and they say they don't believe in anything anymore. Well, is it any wonder why there's nothing to believe in? Because you have that belief. There's nothing to believe in. The universe will give you what you feel. So if you're always afraid, your fear is always going to be validated because it's going to provide the very thing that you say you believe in. Your truth is your fear, so you get things to be afraid of. If you're angry all the time, well, the universe is going to give you things to be angry about. Because it gives you your truth, which is you are angry. So it's verifying and validating your truth by giving you things to make you angry. Even if you don't want to be, it's giving you what you feel. You could sit there and say, I don't want to be angry, and yet be angry. So are you really being truthful when you make that statement? You're trying to convince yourself. It's like a person trying to convince everybody in a bar how attractive they are by telling you every 5 seconds how beautiful they think they are. Well, if they really were as beautiful as they say they were, whether it's inside or outside, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, they wouldn't have to say it. So rethink. Like Yoda once said, unlearn what you have learned. All the lies that we've been told were from people that keep telling us on a daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis that we should trust them. The media lies to us. Our educational system lies to us. The Food and Drug Administration lies to us. Our governments lie to us. And yet we keep wanting other people to join those things in hopes that this time this person will be the right one, will be the savior. You are your own savior. Do you need somebody to tie your own shoes? Do you need somebody to put food in your mouth with a spoon? Do you need somebody to turn on the water and wash you while you shower or bathe? I sure hope not. So why do you need other people to save you? Save yourself. Use the limited energy you have to be in this form of this third dimensional plane, or fourth dimensional, whatever you want to consider it to be, because fourth dimension is time, even though time is not constant, so it's technically irrelevant. Use it wisely instead of giving it away to everyone else and saying, here, you take care of my life. You do things for me. And wonder why they always take advantage. Because I don't care if you live in China, Jamaica, Australia, Canada, United States of America, they're all corporations and they're all run by very wealthy people who are out of touch. And who do they get interviewed by? The media. When was the last time even Donald Trump had a meeting where they took a bunch of random people off the streets and had them ask questions? They'll never do that because they don't want real questions that they would have to answer. So I mean, even like with Trump, and I've been warning people about him because he is a president of a corporation. He is not the owner of a corporation. Presidents run companies, but they don't own them. So why do I do what I do? Because even in this video, somebody, whether it's 5 minutes from now or 5 years from now, will listen to this because it came to you at that moment when you said to yourself, I needed to hear something today. And it can change their life. So there's no coincidence. I get people all the time that say, you know what, this video is exactly what I needed. Well, guess what? Who brought you here? Did I grab you in your house and force you onto the computer and make you find this? You found it on your own, so give yourself credit. People are so afraid to give themselves credit because, oh, you're an egotistical person, you're vain, you're this, you're that. Who gives a damn what anybody else has to say that's negative? Especially if it's coming from somebody that doesn't matter. So, like VB All Out says, you are teaching me more and more every time I hear you. I appreciate that, but you know what? You're teaching. I can't help you if you weren't here. So, you're here because you made the effort to hear something that resonates with you. So congratulations, that's your achievement. You know, think about a radio. There's lots of different stations. You pick the one that resonates with you, but they're all happening at the same time. It's what frequency do you want to connect to? So do you want to connect to a world that's going to potentially have a World War III? Or do you want to connect to a world where there's nothing but peace, love, and harmony? It should be that simple. And if you don't want nuclear wars, then stop watching all about the wars and stop being like obsessed with that fear and scaring yourself because you're creating that reality. And my question is, why would you want to do that? In an infinite world with infinite planes of existence and infinite yous, you can go in any direction you want. Whether you believe in it or not is irrelevant. Belief is irrelevant to truth. So it doesn't matter if my words fall on deaf ears and somebody says, oh, this person's crazy or I don't believe them. That is irrelevant. And I'll give you another example of how belief is 100% irrelevant to truth. If you are at a bar or a restaurant and you are there with your significant other, somebody that really loves you and you really love them, whoever it is, that's for you to decide. And you get up and go to the bathroom, leaving your drink behind with your loved one. And I'm some stranger at the end of the bar who happens to look over, seeing your significant other pouring what looks to be poison in your beverage. And you come back. And me, who doesn't know you, goes over to you and says, hey, I got to talk to you for a second. Come here. I say, listen, I don't know who that person is. I don't know you. I just want to let you know what I saw. I saw that person put something in your drink. And you could sit there and say, what are you talking about? This is the love of my life. We've been together for years. This person's never done anything bad to me. Who the hell are you? I don't believe you. Get the hell out of here. And you push me away and you ignore my warning sign. Now let me ask you, you didn't believe that the person that was there with you put something in your drink. Will that change your health if you consume it and it was poison? Will your belief or non-belief change the fact that you just drank poison and now you're going to die? Will your belief save you or your non-belief? It won't do a damn thing. So belief is irrelevant to truth. And that's the one thing I had to understand for the longest time when I was being abused and attacked by people, even on my comic book channel. From people making up all this stuff like I had to defend myself. We make excuses because it's easier then, because then we don't have responsibility. And that's why in this world we have governments taking care of us, because they're doing all the things we won't do. How many of you are willing to go up to a cow, slit its throat, cut it into pieces, and then eat it? But we'll allow other people to do it as long as we don't see it. How many of you will go overseas and go and murder somebody in their sleep? Well, we have military people that are hired to do that every day. So as long as they're doing it and we can't see it, I guess it's all right. There's always consequences for everything, not only that you do, but everything that you don't do. So is it any wonder, with so many people being afraid, is it any wonder why we have so many things to be afraid of? But yet, on my channel, you don't hear the fear porn. You don't hear me being scared all the time. How many videos have I made of me being scared of anything? Or having situations occur that I need to be scared of? You create what you feel, because what you really feel is your truth. But we base everything on belief. And that is why the government says, do what you're told or you'll go to jail. Do what we say or you'll go to jail. In other words, believe in what we tell you or you'll be punished. What about religion? Don't look into it. Use your blind faith. Believe us or you'll go to hell. So there's always a punishment if you don't believe in those people. And yet look at all the corruption that comes from both religion and politics. And they want us to believe them? Well, give us something to believe in and then we will. If you want this world to change, you better start changing it. And stop waiting for other people to change it for you. Because that's why your world hasn't changed. Because if you're not happy, ultimately, it's your responsibility to change it. And if you wait for somebody else... Now, obviously, if you listen to me or somebody else and it helps motivate you, that's different because you can get information from others that can inspire you. But if you're relying on me to take care of you and tuck you in bed and feed your, food to you, you're going to starve to death. You can tie your own shoes. You can get up in the morning or whenever you need to. You can do anything, despite what other people tell you you can't do. The only reason you don't is because you've convinced yourself or had other people convince you enough that you can't. But here's the beautiful thing. Even if that was true, you can change it right now. You're driving down the road and realize you're going the wrong way. You don't have to say, well, I guess I have to keep going on this road because I've already gone in this direction. I've already gone the wrong way so far. Might as well keep going. How stupid is that? Turn around. Go in another direction. So that's all I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to give a shout out to those two people that inspired me tonight. Lilith was one, sending me that first message, and then Seth from the Simplistic Seth channel. I put the link, well, not the link, but the name of the person's channel in the description where it says shout out to the Simplistic Seth. Go check out the video he made for me tonight. I don't know that person. But yet, this person told me that they've been watching my videos for 6 months, and it's helped to change their perspective. And even if it changes a 16th of an inch, that's a 16th of an inch less negativity in the world. And how is that a bad thing? So I want to thank you guys, because I know I can't make videos too long, otherwise people won't watch it. It's already 40 minutes. Go check out that person's channel. I just wanted to give that other shout out to Lilith for giving me the inspiration by asking me a very good philosophical question. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Communicate with each other. Believe in yourself to the point where you feel what you believe. Because if you base everything just on belief, you're going to be not as happy as you want to be. But you can use it as a starting gate. So thanks for listening. Have a great night, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, everybody.